The show is made possible in part by its supporting sponsors: Blue Water Power Group of Companies, Joe's Discount Tire, and AskGuy.ca. This guy has canceled me.
Nice. Great beginning.
Right? A couple of times. Not that kind of canceled. But finally in the living room of my friend John, a.k.a. Jack Hollingsworth,
Yes.
right?
Yep. Happy to have you here.
Thanks for, I appreciate it. It's been a while. I mean, we had coffee recently, but
Yep.
we never really sat down and done this.
We had coffee at Coffee Culture.
Yeah, that's right.
That's a great little spot.
It is a good spot. Yeah. Where do we begin with you? Like, we were just talking before the camera started. Like, you're originally from Watford, is that right?
I am a Watford boy, and graduated to Sarnia. Found my bride.
Right.
Followed
How did
her.
you guys meet?
So we met at the roller rink in Skateport in Port Huron.
Skateport. Wow.
Man,
Wow.
It's a long time ago. Tuesday night was Christian music night. So
Okay.
we would go, all the youth groups would go, and they would have, they holler out, okay, now it's guys skate. And all the guys would,
Oh, yeah, right.
flex and skate around. And then
right.
it was a girl skate.
Mm-hmm.
And I just kind of saw her talking to a friend of mine and thought, well, if he's talking to her, I can.
Oh,
Because
okay.
she's way out of my league. Way out of my league.
Did you really think that? Is that
Absolutely.
Really?
So I knew I had nothing to lose.
Right.
It's probably going to be a no.
Right.
So let's just have fun with this thing. And so she told me later, that night she wrote in her diary, I met this really nice guy.
Oh, yeah?
It was me.
Cool.
Yeah, really cool.
Would she tell the same story if I asked her?
Absolutely she will.
Same way?
Well, probably not. She probably described me. So, fashion and I don't get along that well.
No.
So I used to wear high tops, and like I would, when you go to church back then, you wear your good clothes, but I didn't have good shoes to wear. I didn't have leathers or anything, so I had my high tops that I wore all the time, and I had a mullet, and I was a going concern.
Right.
I thought I was doing it all right. She was like, "Here's a fixer-upper."
Right. So this was like in high school then?
She was in high school. I was at a school. So this was like 1989.
Oh. What school did she go
88.
to?
She went to St. Clair.
Yeah.
I went to East Lambton Secondary School.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. You mentioned Christian skate. You're a Christian
Yeah.
now, and this is a big part of your life.
Yeah.
We'll get to that point, but like, how did becoming a Christian? How did that come into your life? Was that mom and dad, or was that?
So it was actually my grandparents, my mom's dad. The little picture like a little country church in Watford, and maybe 20 or 30 people.
Right.
And the 80-year-old organist, pounding away on the keys.
Yeah.
No air conditioning, so it's
Oh,
just
wow.
sweltering hot.
Makes you want to go.
That's right. Lets you know what hell's going to be like.
Right.
So,
Oh goodness.
anyways,
Yeah, so-
that's kind of where it all
Okay.
started, and a lot of older guys who were mentoring me, like pouring into my life, which was really nice. As a young guy, you don't know what life is about or anything.
don't.
So you think you do.
Right. Right.
So it's that overconfidence that usually gets you into trouble.
Right.
So anyways, that's kind of how it
And
started.
that stayed with you forever,
Yep.
obviously, because now you're what's the title of pastor?
I am and I can't say this without laughing. I'm a children and family pastor at Blue Water Church. Yeah, we've got 2 sites. We got a site on Wellington and a
Yeah.
site on Devine. So,
And that was kind of a shift career-wise for you. Like,
I didn't know where you were going with that.
well, like, because before I knew you, like, you worked at what was the name of the place there?
EB Tech?
That, but then there was another one.
Vita, New England Arbors.
Right, yeah, that's
Yeah,
what
yeah,
kind of where I knew last that you worked.
Yeah, so
Like, that's quite a shift.
it is quite a shift. So I've been volunteering at this church in the kids program since I've been married, like 30 years.
Wow.
love kids, love having fun with kids, and love just, loving up on them and mentoring them, and I mean, it seems like kids nowadays, nobody listens to them. Like moms and dads are on their phones, or they're, watching the 60-inch TV.
Right.
You sit down with a kid and say, "Hey, last week you said you were going to have a math test. How did that go?" They look at you like you got two heads. Like,
Right.
how did you remember that? And why are you asking me? So I've been doing that. And when we opened up our second site, it used to be St. Paul United Church.
Oh, right.
Our children's pastor had stepped down. He's off to a different job. And so Pastor Tim called me up and said, "I just need you to work part-time." Because one of my loves is marketing, and there were 3 marketing jobs that were open in August and September that I applied for. Mm-hmm. I didn't get a call on any of them.
Wow.
Like nothing. Crickets.
You're like,
What?
right.
Maybe I'm just cocky. I don't know. So Tim says, "Look, just do this part-time just for the fall until we can find someone who can run this program." So we've got like 85 volunteers.
Oh, wow.
We've got 3 services at 2 sites. So I'm, shuffling people around and making sure that I'm encouraging them and getting all the supplies ready for them. Like, it was busy.
Yeah.
And, 15 hours, it was more like 25 or 30 hours a week.
Okay.
But I didn't care. I wasn't doing anything anyways.
You were having fun too, right?
I was having a lot of fun. They have guns now that shoot bubbles.
They have guns now. This is church.
They have guns.
I was like, where's this going?
They shoot bubbles. You you press the trigger and it just shoots. That's part of my job.
You'd hate that.
So come December, I just kind of decided, you know what? This is really working well. I think maybe this is what I want to do. So we talked about it, and they gave me the golden handshake, and here I am, just having fun.
Loving it.
Yeah, loving it.
Good for you. Would you say that's, I hope I say this, was that you, because you were looking for other jobs, you were looking for something different.
Absolutely.
And this got a shift, so was that God stepping in and going, no.
So here's the cool thing. Right. Every job that I've had for the longest time, we've always prayed, I want to be firing on all cylinders, because I've got comedy, right?
Yeah.
And I got creativity, and I'm a songwriter.
Oh.
So I've been writing songs for probably since we got married, right? And all these things, this job is okay, but I wish I could also somehow incorporate these other things that I do. Well, with this job, he's working with kids, so it's like 90% comedy. Mm-hmm. And I get to work with, I don't know if you know Bobby Lane, there's a band called Backyard Worship, and they're touring the province, and Blue Water is his home base. He's one of the worship leaders, so we write music together.
Nice.
And lots of creativity, lots of meeting people, and just having fun.
Right.
Yeah, lots of fun.
It's worked out.
It's like a big adventure. So,
and you get paid.
I got dental. Come on.
That's cool.
And sometimes you don't even know that it's God. You look back and say, that doesn't even make sense. Like, how did that just happen like that? Right? Yeah, well, maybe God uses coincidences as his way of staying anonymous, right? So.
Well, okay, yeah, good way of saying that.
Yeah,
interesting. The comedy for sure is a big part of. Let's talk about the Fidgets. And that I'm trying to think how we first met, you and I. Was it the Fidgets or was it an event?
I think we'd always, especially through Facebook.
Yeah.
We kind of travel in the same circles, and you had your DJing.
Yeah. So was it karaoke or?
It might have been karaoke, and then when you started the show, I think you featured one of the garage sales that we had at New England Arbors. Remember?
Oh yeah.
Every September we had the great big.
Right. Oh yeah.
Yeah, lots of stuff like that.
Okay.
Right. You're everywhere.
Well.
Right. Oh, you are.
Oh, I get around. Right. Just ask Jennifer.
That's right.
Right? And it's like when I tell her, I want a new project, she goes, right, okay. She doesn't ask questions anymore.
Yeah.
She never really did.
Because you try to say it's a new project, it'll just be a few hours a week.
Right. Here we are.
That's
13
right.
years later.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
But I mean, and it's the connection things though. There's so many, especially in Sarnia, Lambton County. There's so many overlapping relationships.
Oh, yeah.
And friendships and stuff.
Yeah. Well, we were just talking about your wife, whose last name is Moons.
Yeah.
So my family, the Hollingsworth family from Watford, if you go back to the 40s and 50s, my great grandfather had a lot of property. He was a cattle farmer and entrepreneur, and he started a livestock auction, and I think it was like a Wednesday night and a Friday night.
Okay.
To the point that he was actually buying cattle from Alberta. They would ship them on a train, and he would take them off the train and like on horseback and run them through town or through the side streets to get to his farm and his barns.
Wow.
Like the retailers in Watford changed their hours so they would stay open late for the night that the farmers came in, because farmers' wives got to do something, so they would go shopping. So grocery stores, clothing stores, all that stuff. So that was right from the 40s right up until I think the sale barns closed in the late 70s probably. But anybody that was related to agriculture around that time, they would know.
Right.
So Jennifer's dad would definitely know of the.
Right. Yeah, for sure.
Yeah, absolutely.
Well, it's a lot of history around here, right? In these small towns.
Yeah, absolutely.
And again, there's a lot of that connection there. What was your? Let's talk more about the comedy trouble, right? I gotta be. So I'm driving here, and I'm like, oh, I remember last time. It's like, oh, you gotta go through like all these streets and turns and curves to get to this place.
Yeah.
And on the way here, I'm thinking, I wonder what he's up to.
That's
Like
not very nice.
I'm coming, and I'm thinking, and honest to God, I thought, I wonder what kind of T-shirt or shirt he'll have on, because I normally have my suit jacket on, I'm a little more. And on the way here, I was like, I left it at home. I'm like, no, this is going to be way different.
Very good.
And here you are, trouble. But what was the first experience that you got into comedy? Like, what made you say,
Wow, that's a great question. Growing up, we would always watch the Carol Burnett show. Tim Conway. Yeah,
I was just watching Tim and Harry or Harvey.
Tim and Harvey Korman.
Oh my goodness.
So, like, that was classic stuff. And really, you didn't have videos you could pop in and watch any time. You waited until Tuesday night at 7 o'clock. Pink Panther.
Oh yeah.
Peter Sellers.
Yeah.
Classic comedian. And my dad really liked Laurel and Hardy.
Oh my goodness, yes.
And actually, I was just listening to a Seinfeld interview where he said Stooges couldn't get into him. Didn't like Moe, too physical. Laurel and Hardy was very smart. And if you watch how those two guys work together, it's amazing.
Absolutely.
It is amazing. So that's how I kind of got my start. And then, there'd be weddings and stuff, and they'd ask me to give a speech or like a presentation or something like that. So we would do that. When I went to university out west, I was going for my Bachelor of Science, and I technically I got the degree, but there was an amazing improv community, and improv, like you see on Whose Line Is It Anyways? I mean, that was brand spanking new in 1989 and 1990, and my best friend signed me up to do a show with him.
Oh wow!
And didn't tell me.
Whoops.
Until like a couple nights before, and so I jumped in. I learned a bunch of the different sketches. We called them games.
Yeah.
And from then on, it's been like a pretty major part of my life.
Well, to the point where you even have taught workshops on comedy now.
Oh yeah,
because you've learned so much.
Yep.
I should have taken one of those because I jumped into jumped in. I tested the waters of comedy a few months ago at the
in Forest.
Yeah.
How did it go?
Well, I thought okay, and then I listened that my son videotaped it, and so when I was up on stage, I knew when I got a hard laugh, right?
Yeah.
And then the rest was like, oh, they're not going for that, so move on or whatever.
Yeah.
But then when I watched it back, I heard more laughs in the video than I did when I was on stage.
Yeah.
So I don't know if that was because I was more focused on trying to get the laugh.
Oh, absolutely it was.
Yeah, right. And very first time ever. I mean, I've emceed, I've been funny that way, stuff. But I never, and 10 minutes, only 10 minutes. And some would, like other people that were there, they'll say, boy, that was a long time. Whereas for me, I felt like I needed more time. Because I'm more of a storyteller. I'm not more of a tell a joke. I can tell stupid jokes, but I'm more of a storyteller kind of guy.
Remember Flip Wilson?
Yes.
Flip Wilson was an amazing storyteller.
Fantastic. I love Flip Wilson. So I had fun with it.
Sure.
But no stranger to the microphone, being on stage, I didn't have any of those fears.
No stranger to the crowds.
Right? But am I funny? That was the thing for me, was like and I'm a wing it kind of guy, so I had notes that I just practiced. And then but am I funny? Like that was the piece that I was most scared of.
Did they laugh?
I think I'm funny. My wife has to think I'm funny.
She's morally obligated.
So, but I got some laughs and it was fun. And people, I think I scarred a few people because I did a bit of a routine. I think I would definitely do different next time. There's a dark side to me, I guess. and Mr. Community Guy and all that.
Yeah.
I shocked a few people.
Okay.
And my son is scarred for life. He was sitting right there. So, but
that's fine.
But I'll do it again.
But you did it.
Right. Yeah, I did.
Right? 99% of the population won't do that.
Yeah.
You did something no one else will do.
I want to do it again, but I need to be more formed. But I mean, I guess that's how I was complimented, though, by a couple of guys who have done it over and over and over and over. And they're like, that was your first time? I'm like, yeah. They're like, well, okay.
Wow.
So I was like, oh, all right. Because I had no guideline as to, I didn't know what to expect.
Yep.
Yeah.
Well, I think I sent you that link to Robert.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, I did watch some of that stuff.
So that guy, he's the opener, or he's a comedian for, when they say All in the Family is recorded before a live studio audience.
He's the guy that does that.
He's the guy that entertains the audience between. Yeah. Because the audience has to be
right. Got to be prepped. That's right.
Oh yeah, he's amazing.
Yeah.
And he knows everyone. Like. He gave me a list of stars. Oh yeah, I worked with her and I worked with him. What's Julia Dreyfus Elaine on Seinfeld.
Oh, yep, I know who you mean. Her.
So he's worked with. Yeah. Norman Lear gave him a great testimonial.
Oh, is that right?
Oh yeah. He's down, and he's the one that has the course that teaches you. Here's the finer points on.
I'll have to watch that again. There's a course at Humber College, apparently.
Okay.
And not that I know, Jennifer, I'm not taking a course, but.
He is.
No, I'm not. But back to you, though. That's.
Let's get back to me.
It's challenging. Right? How did you do that?
I don't know.
But it's not an easy task to get, because overcoming getting up in front of people, that can be done.
Yeah.
And I feel like probably because of the internet and social media, everybody's a comedian, right?
Yeah.
Is really coming to life now.
Yeah.
Is it harder now to break through that space because there's so many, or do you just do your own thing? And
I think you just do your own thing, and there's a difference, of course, between stand up where you memorize your bits, right? Now there's still kind of thinking on your feet and did they laugh at that? Okay, I'm going to steer away from that and kind of. But with improv, we don't memorize anything.
No.
We know what the.
That's tough.
Well,
or maybe I don't know. I've never tried it.
So here's the thing. We'll get you trying some stuff.
Okay.
But you just have to know the rules of the game.
Yeah.
Right. And with improv. Everyone on stage knows my job is not to be funny, it's to be interesting.
Right.
And I'm going to make the other guys look good. So when you're on the stage, the other two guys are there and they're going to make you look good. And your job is to make them look good.
Right.
And that stops anyone from monologuing.
Kind of like wrestling.
Yeah.
You got to both sell it.
We should talk to Brian White about that. He should be here.
Oh, here we go. It's spiraling already.
Yes, that's right.
But no, that's a good point, because easy enough in a situation like that to think that each one's got to be the impressive one, right? You know.
Yeah.
And I do watch a lot. Every time I watch Whose Line Is It, I think of you and
thanks.
the fidgets and you know, like Colin and those, like Ryan, like they're just,
And they grew up together.
clever,
Yep.
genius,
And
like,
they know.
yeah.
So with the fidgets, Dave and Chris and I have been doing this together for 10 years. Dave and I, you know, since 96.
Yeah.
So I know when we come up with a scene, and I'll say to the audience, okay, give me somebody that wears a uniform, and they'll yell out fireman, army guy,
Star Trek.
Star Trek, red uniform,
Right.
Cop, mailman.
Right.
Okay, so this is the character. Now give me an accent. Now, the great thing about accents is I can't do them, but
It's okay.
they don't care. They want to laugh at me.
They want to see the attempt on
Exactly.
How good can he not do
And
this?
the worse it is, the better the laugh. And why am I there? I'm there to make them laugh,
Yeah.
right? So we've actually been doing a lot of fundraising shows for schools
Yeah.
and pregnancy centers.
Oh, wow.
And we've got like a really unique model. And we actually saw it, Colin and Brad, Colin Mockery and
Yep.
Brad Sherwood,
Oh, yeah, yeah. Oh,
right? Tall guy.
yeah.
He was the host of the Newlywed Games before he
Yeah,
jumped in.
yeah.
So they filled this stage with mousetraps and blindfolded themselves and did a comedy scene on top of the mousetraps. So we incorporate that, and we have, if it's for a school, we have the students sell mousetraps for $20 a piece.
Yeah.
The more mousetraps they sell, the more we're going to put on the stage. The school keeps all the money. And so the very, very end of the show, we'll say, okay, it's time for the mousetrap sketch. Put on the blindfolds, take off our shoes and socks.
It's clever.
Chris never does it. Chris is the guy he's the caller, okay?
Okay.
So he'll say, okay, guys.
That doesn't seem fair.
I know, it's not fair. He'll say, guys, you're two convicts who are digging a tunnel to break out of prison. So that means we have to get down on all fours.
Right.
And he's going to direct us through the tunnel. Really, he's directing us to step and sit and roll on all of the mousetraps. Yeah. It's really effective, though. So
I've seen some video of it.
a school up in Muskoka sold 1,000 mousetraps.
Wow.
They made $26,000. A pregnancy center up in Belleville made $31,000 from a 90-minute comedy show.
That's amazing.
It was so much fun. And everyone's laughing.
It's win-win, right?
Yeah.
Good for you guys, good for the charity.
Yeah.
And wow. Does it really hurt?
Oh, it hurts.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But for a second. Like, it's not like constant, like,
Yeah,
once it's
so
there,
it'll
you're not
hurt.
losing
if
toes.
if it's no, you don't lose toes. It'll snap you on the soft.
Show me.
Exactly. I have one.
Oh boy.
But because we're barefoot,
Yeah.
if we're crawling through mousetraps and one snaps on your toe, like because of the way your toe is made, like it's kind of a fat little thing.
Yeah.
You can't shake that off.
Oh right.
Right? 'Cause it's hooked in there.
Yeah.
So here you are with a blindfold on in a field of mousetraps that you can't see, and you're trying to shake a mousetrap that's snapped on your toe. You're trying to shake it off.
Right.
The more you move, the more snap on you.
Snap, right.
It's terrible. Yeah.
How many? Any count on how many mouse traps have bitten you?
No. I will say, so the fidgets have helped raise over $425,000 for charities.
That's amazing.
Just from entertaining,
Mousetraps.
right? Yeah.
Yeah, that's so cool.
No, that's lots of fun. Yep.
And then you guys, you did a tour, didn't you, at one point?
Yeah, so we've toured the East Coast once, and we toured the West Coast twice, and then COVID hit. had a special on Amazon Prime worldwide.
Yeah.
So we've got our Christmas, actually right now, what is it, June? Right now we're booking for Christmas. Like we've already got Christmas bookings. So if you're a company and you're tired of terrible entertainment for your Christmas party, you give us a call.
It's a step up.
It's a step up, and we will have some amazing laughs for Christmas.
If this was something that you could do full time.
Absolutely.
Yeah, right?
Yeah, absolutely.
Bye-bye church.
Yeah. Sorry, church. I don't know if I could give that up. That's a really good job.
Yeah.
But to travel to a town we've never been in before, and to stand in front of a crowd that we've never seen before, we're going to give them 90 minutes of laughter. They can forget all of their troubles. They can forget any problems that they had for an hour and a half.
Yeah.
And then they have some good memories.
Cool.
Right? Yeah, it's really good.
Yeah. Your style, the fidget style, is clean comedy, right?
Yeah, it's all clean. It's all family.
That's structured that way.
Yep.
So that being said, when you watch other comedians that you like, go, wow, that guy's really funny.
Yeah.
Are those comedians swearing?
So if you look right now at, if you look at Seinfeld,
Mm-hmm.
Seinfeld swears very little.
Yeah.
All right. Not politically correct, but Bill Cosby built an empire.
Yeah.
On clean comedy.
The only time I ever heard him say a bad word was asshole.
Oh yeah?
Yeah, he was talking about smoking pot.
Okay.
And he would go, choke on it, and they'd go, that's good. And then I would just remember him saying, he goes, what is it about smoking pot that's really good? And he goes, well, it intensifies your personality. And he said, what if you're already an asshole? Right? That's the only time I've ever heard him.
Yeah.
Storyteller, though.
Yep.
Right?
Amazing storyteller. Right. Nate Bargatze.
I'm not familiar.
So Nate Bargatze is a clean comedian. Actually, he's a Christian comedian. Hosted Saturday Night Live about a month ago.
Oh, okay.
And he's going to be in London in July and Ottawa. Like, he's touring the continent.
Nice.
Tickets are $200 a piece.
Wow.
And I mean, you have to look up some of his clips. Nate Bargatze, he's amazing, and it's all clean.
Yeah.
But it's actually a better laugh with improv. Improv is usually dirty because you have to do the first thing that comes to your mind.
There's a lot of innuendos.
There's a lot of innuendos.
Yeah.
So with clean improv,
and it's always sex.
it's
There's no other innuendo.
Why bother with anything else, right? But with clean improv, you have to be just as good as those guys. So you have to think twice as fast and be twice as creative. Because whatever I'm going to come out with isn't going to be dirty, but it's going to be at least as funny, if not funnier. Right? So we work hard. It's important.
Do you prepare for that? You're doing an improv night, improv is make up as you go, but there's still, I would think, be some preparation, mindset wise, or what?
Yeah.
So
each
watch whose line before you do.
we actually do, and each sketch is what you would call a game.
Yeah.
And so there's different games. So one might be, so we invented one called Shark Tank.
Okay.
All right. So Shark Tank, one of our guys leaves the room, and the audience tells us something that he's invented. They tell us an action that the invention does, and they tell us what the secret ingredient is to make this invention really good. Okay? So I'm the shark. Chris comes in. He doesn't know what the invention is. Behind me is Dave doing charades, trying to get Chris to guess these things.
Okay.
So I'll say, okay, show me your invention. Tell me about your invention. What have you got? And Chris has no idea, but he's watching Dave behind my back. It's a coffee machine. No, No, it's something that takes the hair off your head. I don't know. And the audience gets to watch as Chris stumbles around trying to figure it out. Wow. So we know the rules to each game that we play, and we'll know, okay, so here's what to look for, and we want to make sure that each sketch is 8 minutes maximum. Sure. You don't want to milk it.
Yeah. You don't?
No.
No, but that's an important thing to say too, because we've all heard, like, timing and comedy, right? But not just the joke, but really is to know when to end it. Yeah. And know when to keep going. Yep. At the same time, right?
What did Kenny Rogers say?
You got to know when to hold them, know when to fold them.
There you go.
Yeah, no, that's important.
So you're waiting for kind of you want to conclude the sketch. So typically you start a sketch with a problem to solve. Yeah. What's an argument you'd have between two brothers right before Christmas? Right. They don't know what to get their parents for Christmas. Okay. So the end of the sketch, you kind of have to solve that within 8 minutes using characters the audience gives you and accents the audience gives you. And then you have to make sure that as you solve it, you get that bam, big laugh. Yeah. And then you shut it down.
I think that's where I didn't quite close the deal the night I did it. It was like I was telling stories. Yep. I mildly swore, but then I was looking to get to the final climax kind of thing. Yep. If I really get them going and then go, thank you, good night. Yep. I didn't hit that. Okay. I didn't put enough thought into that. And that's, but yeah, the timing of everything, and because you don't want people to get, like, is there a point where you just go, I'm not getting them at all, so it's time to just walk away? So here's the funny thing. We've done shows where things are out of our control. Like sometimes people will bring children and they'll fill up the front rows. And I like kids, but I don't like them at my shows. Right. Just because they're throwing stuff on the stage and they're running around and screaming. So we've done shows where all that stuff is happening, and we think that was a terrible show. Like that was so bad. And then the person that booked us comes backstage and is raving about how amazing the show was and thank you so much. Because we know what a really good show looks like. You have your own expectation.
We raise the bar for ourselves. They, compared to whatever they were going to be doing that night.
They set the bar low that day.
They did. Thank you for setting the bar so low. And maybe that's something we cover when they hire us. Set the bar low. Lower your expectations completely. You're going to really enjoy the show.
So that sucks. We still get paid, just so you know.
That's right.
Yeah, important. There's so much to it, like... But have you ever, like, I go back to, like, Tim Conway. Yeah. I think, like, in the beginning, they were all funny together. And I think at some point it was just his job to try to crack them. Yeah. I think he was evil that way. He was like, I'm going out and I'm cracking them right in front.
But
it was live too, right?
Yeah.
The Carol Burnett show was
live. And there was people that tuned in
just to see it.
Just to see it happen, right? Yeah. And Harvey was such an easy target.
Oh, he was.
Now, here's the thing. Tim Conway was a failure at his own shows.
Is that right?
He tried 3 times to have the Tim Conway show. Yeah. Each time it flopped because Tim Conway was the spice that you would put into the Carol Burnett show, right? Just a little seasoning. You can't have a whole meal of seasoning. No. And that's what he tried to do. I'm going to do all my crazy stuff, but just on my own. Yeah. It doesn't work that way, right? That's not his character. That's not who he was.
You have the right people to bounce it off of too. Like
absolutely.
Like Harvey, like nothing against him. Like he was funny.
Yep.
But he wasn't.
But he was a straight guy.
Like he wasn't hilarious by any means.
Right.
Tim was, and then like when Carol was in there, I don't know which was worse, if it was just him on his own or with Carol Burnett in there. Right?
Yeah.
But have you ever experienced that, or were you the Tim Conway that cracked the other guys?
We all take turns. We were up in Kincardine doing a show.
Oh, I love Kincardine.
Beautiful town, middle of winter, and we had, a couple hundred people come out, and I honestly don't even know what the line was, but it stopped the show. Like all three of us got giggling.
Yeah.
And it had never happened before. We just could not stop giggling. And it's worse because, look, there's an audience here. We got to get on with the show. Right. I shouldn't be doing this.
Yeah.
It kept going. 2 weeks ago, Chris delivered a line, and it's the same line he's delivered probably half a dozen times. I've heard it lots of times, but it was just the way he delivered it this time, I lost it. And it took me a minute to get composure, yeah. Right? But, we like trying to make each other laugh a little bit, just like catch them off guard.
Tripping each other up.
Absolutely.
Just for see how this goes.
Yep. Yeah.
I guess that's a nice thing about improv too, is you can really try anything.
Yeah.
And then if you do it again, you might use it again, but then
yep.
next time you might go, yeah, that doesn't.
Yeah.
But that's got to be so hard to figure out because like the audience tonight might just roar, and you do the exact same bit.
Yep.
Just even like you thought you did it even better than last time, and nothing.
Right. Think of it this way though: if say you like baking. You could try to bake a loaf of bread in this new recipe, and the first night you try it, yeah, maybe.
Yeah, okay.
And the second night, yeah, it's really good. The third night, you do everything exactly the same, but maybe the barometric pressure is different, or maybe use the wrong kind of salt, and it doesn't rise at all. Like, if you love what you're doing, you're gonna play with it. Like, you're gonna keep experimenting around with it.
Yeah.
So when you're doing your stand-up, you're already miles ahead of other first-timers because you're able to scientifically look at it and say, here's what I didn't do.
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
Right?
100%.
I didn't punch him at the very end.
It.
Yep, absolutely. Yeah.
Months ago.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. Family, obviously important to you and a big part to your wife, and then you have children.
I do. Duncan is married and living in Ottawa. Our first grandbaby.
Oh, yeah. Gramps?
Papa.
Okay.
And she's Oma.
Oh, nice.
Yeah, she's got the German heritage. So.
Wonderful.
Yep. And then my daughter Emma is married and she's a nurse at Blue Water.
Okay.
And then Benjamin, you just saw him. He has finished his second year at Waterloo. He wants to be a doctor.
Nice.
So
the kids are good and healthy and.
Kids are awesome. And you know what we really like? The kids like getting together with themselves. Like,
yeah.
Like they can hang out and have a good time without us being there and without it being an event or anything, right?
That's good.
Oh, I love that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And are they funny too? Or are you're it?
No, they're all pretty funny. My daughter's got a really dry sense of humor.
Oh, okay.
And yeah, they've all got a really good sense of humor, however, they've all taken my improv course.
Oh.
And
did you make them pay?
I did not.
Oh,
no.
I would have made them pay.
Their mom wouldn't let me. I tried to float that balloon, but it didn't.
She
get
must
shot
have
down.
a sense of humor. Steph, right?
Yeah, Stephanie.
She must have a really good sense of humor if she's married to you for how long?
Or maybe she's just tired.
Oh,
right? Maybe I broke her spirit. She's given up. She gives me the mandatory laugh. She is a supply teacher.
Okay.
And she has just started her own editing business. So when you write your book.
You know what?
And what a book that would be.
Funny thing you say. I've got a title.
What?
And that's as far as it goes.
Okay.
It's called Episode 1.
Oh.
I have an Episode 1.
Nicely done.
When I started the show, I had no idea what I was doing. I didn't have any video editing experience or nothing. And it shows in the first video. It's actually still on YouTube.
Some of those are painful to watch, right? Like
Just,
some of the early fidget stuff, I think, wow.
Do we have to talk about it?
Yeah.
I got the green screen behind me bleeding through, and audio was horrible, and my hands are in front of my face.
But back then we thought, hey.
But I'm on YouTube.
Yeah, that's right.
There's a lot of times I wish I had, because back then I was thinking of either video or just doing an audio podcast.
Yep.
And there's a lot of times I wish I'd have picked audio because it's way easier to edit.
Sure, sure. And no one can go back to those and say, look at those collars.
Just
Look at that shirt.
right, the shirts.
The shirts.
I don't know how Jennifer put up. Well, I dress differently now.
My wife dresses me.
She
Whatever.
did tonight.
I just popped this on, but with her approval.
Right.
Whatever clothes she puts on the end of the bed for the day, that's my clothes.
Oh,
That's
really?
that's why I'm happy she doesn't really have a good sense of humor,
Okay.
because
Be bright.
a little Bo Peep, I guess. I don't know. So
I have some of the shirts that I used to wear, and that they're hidden in a corner. I get to bring them out at Halloween now.
yes,
That's it.
yes. But I
She
watch
doesn't put them out for me though. I got to pick my own out.
I watch old episodes of Six in the City.
Yep.
Remember that?
Yep.
That was what, 98, 99, 2000.
Right.
Man, we didn't know
Right.
anything.
No.
We were just having fun.
That's right. Well, listen, okay, let's because you're a bit of a philosophical guy, I think,
Sure.
too, right? Whether that's religious or just life. And
Yeah.
I'm very philosophical most of the time. What are we missing, John? Like, I worry. We're getting a little serious here now, but what's missing in our society? Like, what are we forgetting? Is there stuff that was? I'm asking a lot of questions at once here, but is there stuff that used to be there that we don't have anymore that we should try to bring back? Are we too sensitive, easily offended? And it could go back to the Lord's Prayer in school. Like,
Yeah.
what's going on?
So here's the thing about that. The Lord's Prayer in school wasn't like a magic spell that
Right.
protected the school, or having the Ten Commandments up on the wall. But I will tell you, there's a lot of people that are surprised that stealing is wrong because
It's not taught.
it's not taught, right? I personally think that it's a society that really wants validation with whatever they do. Don't tell me that I'm wrong, just tell me that's the way I am. And I don't think anyone can improve their lot if they don't want to hear how they can improve,
Right.
right? So, and Jerry Seinfeld talks about it all the time, like, comedy is suffering because so many people are offended, right?
I just watched a bit of that clip the other day.
Yeah. So if your jokes have to go through the corporate ladder, and everybody takes a look at the joke and trade that word with this word, and suddenly, what have you got? You got oatmeal. Like it's flavorless. And we're clean comedy. Like, we don't make fun of anyone but ourselves, right? But I think you just got to be able to. You should be able to laugh some things off.
Well, and we put a lot of emphasis on not failing.
Yeah.
I think sometimes, which you gotta fail. Like,
Man.
fail your way to the top is what I've always learned. And
You're not.
and whether even if you're not a religious person,
Yep.
if you don't believe, like you and I have talked, I think at our coffee, I was like,
Yeah.
I struggle. I'm not sure where I'm at 100%.
Sure.
That's another story, but even if you don't believe,
Yep.
read the Ten Commandments, because
Sure.
they're not bad guidelines. Like, don't cheat on your wife.
Yeah.
You don't piss off your neighbor.
Right.
Don't steal,
And
don't
add
kill,
the Beatitudes to that.
Right.
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 Right. Don't do an eye for an eye.
Yeah.
But forgive. Go the extra mile. Right. Be the story of the Good Samaritan. Be the neighbor that goes the extra mile, even when this guy's being a jerk, but he needs your help. And
That's right. I've always quoted at some of the talks I've done. I've always said, seek out the greatness in everyone, including the ones you don't like.
ooh,
That's the tough part, right?
That's the tough
Because I
part.
like you, John, so I can find great. No, you know what I mean?
Sure.
But that guy over there, the
Yep.
son of a...
Yeah, and
but
you-
it's in there.
it's in there. And we say at church, we say everyone's got someone you don't get along with, you don't like. As soon as you start praying for that person, it's hard to have a hate on for them, right? If you're praying for them.
We got too much hate going on.
Oh man, there's so much hate.
How do we?
By example,
Yeah.
right? just by getting out there. So tomorrow, my friend Daphne, who also works at Blue Water, and she works a lot with disadvantaged people.
Okay.
We're going to Rainbow Park.
Okay.
And
I went for a walk there last week, but I want to hear about it.
like she just asked me today, do you want to go to Rainbow Park and meet some of my friends? Sure, I absolutely do, because I don't even know what's going on there, so I want to go and see for myself.
Not to take thunder away from that,
Yeah.
just before I came here, we live down Divine Street
Yep.
area, and there was a young fella, like if he was 19, maybe 17, 18, he had a bicycle, broken up bicycle,
Okay.
and he had a trailer attached to it behind him, and he had like a ladder and some other things that he had obviously collected.
Yeah.
And I don't know, something was kind of falling. That's why I was a few minutes late getting here. Actually, he was trying to rope something up to wouldn't fall off the trailer.
Yeah.
And some of my neighbors sit across the street and they watch. They're the neighborhood watch. I got a few of those, which is, and he was struggling.
Yeah.
You could obviously tell that he himself was struggling.
Yeah.
But I just stopped for a second. I said, "Do you need a hand?" I said, "Well, what are you trying to keep the ladder on?" I said, "Just a second. I don't know. I had some old rope or something."
Yeah.
It was probably my dad's and I've never used.
Right.
So took the time to have a nice day. Now, I don't say that to get any accolades, but what
Right.
I'm saying is I think too many of us are just sitting by watching, and we're like, it was a ladder falling off. You just needed some rope or something.
Just help out, man.
Too many of us are sitting there watching that happen.
Yeah.
Why?
Because we can't solve the whole problem, right? Because it's overwhelming. You see that guy and you say, obviously he was having struggles himself, and a lot of us think, well, should I offer him food? Should I offer him something to drink? Well, just do one little thing, right?
Like, I probably made his day a whole lot
You
better.
probably made his day a whole lot better.
Just
Yep.
to go, and sort of to say, like,
And if someone
hopefully
thinks
you're okay, buddy.
the world's against me, well, here's a story that crosses that, right?
Yeah.
Some guy with his crazy van pulled over and helped me, got me rope, and okay, that's a good thing.
Yeah.
Is it going to change his life? Probably not, but made his day a little better.
Yeah. But we're scared, aren't we, John?
Yeah.
Are we scared of how people might react?
I think we're scared, and I think it's hard for us. We don't want to be uncomfortable, right? I mean, talking to people that, they need a bath, they need a shower, that makes you uncomfortable because they smell bad, and no one wants to be uncomfortable. So, you know what? I'll throw a couple bucks towards whatever charity that's taking care of them. I think someone, and maybe it was in the Journal, they were talking about, was it emotional poverty?
Okay.
It's like being isolated. Like the people at Rainbow Park, there's a lot of people that don't like what's going on there or don't like them or something. They know that.
Yep.
They also know that they smell bad.
Yep.
And they also know that whatever, they're dirty. They probably don't like it.
I would think not.
Right? But what can they do?
Right.
What resources do they have, even from going to the bathroom or keeping themselves clean? Like, and some people will say, well, they got themselves into it. Absolutely, but can we not give them not a hand out but a hand up?
Right.
Can we not help them? They made a bad decision.
If they want it, you're right.
Yep.
We hear people say, well, a lot of them don't want it. Well, okay. Because somebody said to me, this discussion has been more common these days. They said, well, yeah, but you can't save the world. No, but I can help the one right in front of me.
Yep. Because you might be the world.
That's my world right there.
Absolutely.
That was him.
Yep.
And I know I'm not going down to save all of Rainbow Park or wherever, but I can help that world right there.
And I know that there are moms and dads out there who haven't seen their kid in months, maybe years. And maybe they're in London or St. Thomas or Thunder Bay, and their kid is in Sarnia. If that was my kid, I would want to know somebody was reaching out to help them.
Right.
whatever happened, whatever the problem was, man, if they're struggling with their bike and their trailer, I hope some guy would be kind enough to give them a piece of rope.
A friend of mine said not too long ago, a reminder of the Beatles song, all you need is love.
That one.
The 11th commandment, love thy neighbor, right?
The 11th commandment?
The 11th commandment.
Okay.
Love one another.
Love one another.
Sorry, I said love thy neighbor, but the 11th commandment is love one another. Of all of the commandments that I've given you, the one I want you to know the most. Am I cursing you right now?
Absolutely.
Love one another, and that goes back to, even if you don't believe in God or religion, whatever.
Yep.
Those commandments, though, are it was probably the first power of positivity or self-help book ever, because in a time, well, whatever, that's a whole other show, but these were all new values that didn't exist.
Yeah.
Because in that time, like, people did kill each other, and that was all you deserve. You got what you got, and people did do all these other things, and that's, if the story of Jesus was the best time ever to start, because the world didn't know what the hell was going on.
Yeah.
Right. So.
Yeah. And back then, if you were born blind, it was because your parents did something terrible, and God was punishing you, right?
Right.
And Jesus introduces this idea that no, it just happened.
I'd like to think we've evolved.
Yeah.
But I also see, like probably you, that we've fallen backwards in so many things, and I think we tend to blame it on technology.
Yeah.
And it's not technology's fault.
No.
Like, I've always heard, like, Facebook, it's not Facebook.
Because you don't have to.
The person using Facebook.
Exactly. You don't have to have a Facebook profile.
And right?
And it's
even
not.
If you do, like, go on mine. There's no negativity. And if there is, actually, I had someone today make a comment, and I just privately messaged, pulled them aside, and said, please keep it positive on my Facebook.
Yep.
And they blah, 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 blah. And I'm like, okay, I guess I don't hang out with you anymore.
Yep.
It's that simple.
That simple.
So we tend to point the fingers, right? We tend
to
go, technology.
The social media.
What's the government going to do for us?
Oh, man, yes.
Oh, I brought it up there. Politics, right? Do you follow it?
Politics?
Yeah.
A little bit. Just
enough. Eh?
Just enough.
Yeah.
I'm hoping for change.
Right. I never usually go down that rabbit hole, but change and all that stuff. You mean like at a federal level or local level or both?
Well, I think change is always can be good. Yeah. I think at a federal level, I think it's time. Yeah. I think it's time to make some changes, but that's fine.
Locally, how are we doing?
Locally, how are we doing? There's always room for improvement.
Okay.
I think.
You're not gonna answer me.
But I think we've got amazing beaches.
Yep.
We've got a beautiful city. There's trees everywhere. There's so many parks. Like,
we can get everywhere in 15 minutes.
We can get everywhere in 15 minutes. We've got a major highway going through the center of town. This is a great place to live. Mm-hmm. Could we improve? Absolutely, we can improve. But I don't think we need to be in a shouting match or anything like that, right? I don't think shouting really solves too many issues.
Shuts me right down.
It shuts me right down.
You yell at me, I'm like, whoa.
Yeah. Now here's the interesting.
Even if I was being a jerk, I deserve to be yelled at.
That's right.
Just don't yell at me.
Right. One of the most interesting characters in Sarnia, I think, is Brian White.
Yeah, why is
that? Well, he's a serious council guy. Like, he's in there. He's digging for the common man. And on the weekends, he's a wrestler.
Right.
Right?
I thought I had a cool job, right? But maybe it's time to interview Brian White.
I think so. He's a good guy. Cool. But I mean, we're lucky to have you.
Yeah.
Right? What do? You are, what's your job? You're a conversationalist.
Who, me, you mean?
You absolutely.
It's funny you say that, because I don't know what I do, and Jennifer still doesn't know what I do. Try the first time you're dating and you meet the parents.
So, David, what do you do for a living?
Well, I was doing karaoke at the time. What's he do? Karaoke. No, what's he? Not his weekend. No, that's what he does. They're like, whoa, okay. Future career there.
Well, Jennifer, you're an adult. You make your own decisions.
Right. And then the talk show thing, they still like. I don't think the parents know what I really do.
Yeah.
But yeah, conversational.
You have good conversations with people.
I used to kind of do a little bit of news stuff when I started the show, and I got away from that, and I was just like, it's just I'll let the news people do the news.
I think people are more interested in conversations.
Well, and some people, you kind of said yourself, like, why me? What do you want to talk about? I'm like, no, but your story. There's lots of stories, and there's lots of people that, if maybe said their names, they're like, oh, I don't know who that is, and they're like, why do you want to interview me? I'm like, because you have a story. I met you out having a drink or a dinner or something, and I just like, wow, I find that intriguing. Everybody's got one.
Yeah,
you've got a great one, and I thank you so much, more than you realize, for your friendship and the time here. And this has been a great conversation. I wish we could do 2 hours.
I'm really glad you came by, man.
We're not doing 2 hours.
We're not going to do 2 hours.
I don't really want to do 2 hours. But there you go. We've had a great conversation here with John or Jack. And make sure, this is the point where I do it. Click the like and the love. Click the share so you can share John's story and everybody else I have here in the show. But as always, I don't know if you've ever noticed this.
What?
Like Carol Burnett used to do this.
Yeah.
I do this. That's all the time I got for you this week. Have a great week and an even better weekend. We'll see you next time right here in the show. Bye.